we're representing the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. We are in front of the Embassy of Mauritius.
And Ambassador Kheswar Jankee has agreed us to give us an interview. So now we're going upstairs and ask him some questions about cultural diplomacy.
Welcome to the Embassy of Mauritius.
Thank you. It's an honor for us.
Thank you very much for coming. This is our national flag, as you may know. This is Her Excellency, our President. This is the Right Honorable, our Prime Minister of Mauritius. Please come. First person, I will introduce you to Mr. Singh. Hello. This is my Minister Counselor.
Welcome to the Chancery.
He's the Deputy Head of Mission.
Welcome to the Chancery.
Mr. Nathan
Udayan.
This is my financial assistant, Miss Madeleine Lampe. Here I introduce you to Mr. Vivekanand Bowen.
Welcome
He's
to
my
the
consular officer.
Please feel at home at us.
My confidential secretary, Miss Anna Foster.
Hello.
Hello.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
It's very important that you have a look at this. We call it, this is very famous in Mauritius, the blue penny. Okay? The blue penny. We call it the die blow Mauritius. This is very important, and many Germans, they know about the blue penny of Mauritius. We'll talk about that later.
Been the ambassador of Mauritius to Germany here in Berlin since September 2015. How have you enjoyed the position so far, and what has been the main focus of your work since you started?
Yeah, first of all, let me thank you for coming to the embassy.
It's an honor.
And I hope you have liked my embassy and you have had a short trip. You've met most of the staff. There's one staff who is on leave. She's my first secretary, Mrs. Mutusami. And that's true. I have been appointed as ambassador officially when I submitted my letter of credential to the president. And this is really a memorable event for me in my life. And I still remember I was really emotional when I saw, Germany hosting the Mauritian flag after the ceremony. And for me, as ambassador, especially being appointed in Germany, and I thank the Mauritian government for this position. And Germany, as you know, is a center of excellence. Germany is a leading country in the whole world, and it is the heart of Europe today. I think this is an undeniable fact that Germany is doing very well, and I feel very privileged, to assume the responsibility of ambassador here, because for Mauritius, Germany is very important, and I feel that as ambassador, I have a very important mission to bring closer link, either trade, diplomatic, cultural link between Mauritius and Germany, vice versa. Yes.
And for what reason did you decide to become a diplomat?
You see, I always say that I am not a career diplomat. But my career has made me become a diplomat. This is very interesting because when I try to look at my career path, I have been a teacher, I have been an economist at the central bank for 5 years. I work at the Central Bank of Mauritius. Then I have joined the University of Mauritius in 1992 as a lecturer, and today I am an associate professor at the University of Mauritius. And my main area of research is banking and finance. I'm a monetary economist. And apart from that, I am known to be an economic activist in Mauritius. I am someone, who is always commenting, the economy, talking about the budget and talking about economic policies, okay? And all these things, my involvement, in the economy, my involvement in many activities, including cultural and even political activities, all these things have shaped, to some extent, my destiny. And I feel really grateful to the government for calling me to serve the position of ambassador in Germany. Yeah.
How important do you think the role of being the ambassador of Mauritius to Germany is?
You see, I should also add, which is linked to your previous question, that over my career path, and I have realized that today, that my international exposure, I have been visiting scholars in different countries, in America, in Singapore, in UK, okay, in India, in several countries, and this international exposure has to some extent, shaped, my way of thinking, has given me different insights, has provided me with different insights, looking at things internationally, looking at things differently, and then moreover, today, with this position as ambassador, I can see that, that this is helping me to integrate. This is helping me because at Berlin, okay, I have to meet a number of ambassadors. You have ambassadors from Africa, ambassadors from Eastern Europe, ambassadors from France, from UK, for all the different countries, most of them, they have an ambassador, they have an embassy here. And for me, my international exposure plus my career path, they are all helping me, okay, in my role as ambassador, and they are all helping me to integrate, because I have to work with the SADC group, I have to work with the African group of ambassadors, I have to meet the different ambassadors, in reception, not only in reception, but also in different fora. So this is really helpful for me. Yeah.
I think this is extremely interesting. Now I would like to move to some questions related to the relations of Mauritius to other countries, and especially to Germany. Now, Mauritius has had a very rich history and various dominations, starting from the Dutch, the French, and lastly from the British. You became independent in 1968, and you proclaimed your country as a republic in 1992, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you also had, throughout your history, a very rich traditions with Germans. So now I would like to ask you, how have the relations between Germany and Mauritius changed after the years? And in what way the Embassy of Mauritius in Berlin is promoting its cultural heritage?
Yeah, no, this is where I'm going to come back slightly to your question about the role of being an ambassador of Mauritius, because this is where I'm going to talk about Germany and Mauritius.
Yes.
And this is, Mauritius established diplomatic relations with Germany in 1968. And it is only in 2000, the year 2000, that this embassy was set up to promote diplomatic links with Germany. And today, that's true. Mauritius is a country with a very interesting history. If you look at the history of Mauritius, we'll talk about culture later. If you look at Mauritius, you know, and the cultural diversity in Mauritius, which we are definitely going to develop these points later. And what is the role of an ambassador of Mauritius in Germany today? Today, the focus has changed, you know. The objective or the mission of an ambassador is to promote the trade relation and economic relation between Germany and Mauritius, vice versa. Because it's true that at the beginning, the objective was only to develop diplomatic relation with Germany. But now, when I talk about the economy, about the changes in the economic landscape of Mauritius, and in addition to the local factors in Mauritius, in addition to that, when you look at the international environment, the changes in the world economic order, that just recently everyone is talking about Brexit, you know, when things are changing so rapidly that me, as an ambassador representing Mauritius, I have a lot of challenges, I have a lot of things to see. That's why, you know, it's good to put that into focus. My focus here, I can say, first of all, is to promote the bilateral relationship, which is really good with Germany, which is the existing one. I can say that I'm getting a lot of support from the German government, and thank you for that. And secondly is economic diplomacy. Because, you know, this is one of the reasons, you know, given my background as an economist, I have been chosen by the government to go and promote economic diplomacy. Because when I talk about the economy, you'll see that Mauritius, we are at a crossroad. Mauritius, we want to move from a middle-income economy to a high-income economy. And this is where major economic transformation, major reforms in all sectors, okay, are being done, are being planned in the case of Mauritius. And that's why, you know, I have a very important role here as ambassador. And Germany, as I've told you, Germany is a center of excellence. Germany is known for its quality, for the best practice, for the technology transfer, for lots of things which we are going to discuss. And then that's why this is my focus here. And I'm focusing on 3-4 things, you know. One is, I believe that Mauritius should be in the media, that is visibility. That is, I want, as an ambassador, that the German know more about Mauritius. Because when we talk about tourism, you will see, when I meet any German, they will tell me, oh, Mauritius, it is a very expensive tourist destination, which is not true. I will talk about that later, because this perception should be changed. Second thing, the first thing is media, visibility of Mauritius. This is one I'm working on, I'm focusing on that. The second thing which I'm focusing is about the economic diplomacy, the promotion of trade and investment. That is, I want that German investors, they go to Mauritius, they don't see Mauritius only as a tourist destination, because when we discuss the economy later, you would realize that there are many sectors, there are many opportunities in Mauritius where the German investor, they can go. By the way, we are already working on that. There is already many missions, you know. They are planning to go, the German businessmen planning to go to Mauritius, you know, for a trip to look at the different investment possibilities. And on the other side, there are many business trips, many investors coming from Mauritius. You have institutions like Enterprise Mauritius, like the Board of Investment. They are organizing mission because, you know, when we talk about diplomacy, when we talk about diplomatic links, when we talk about, you know, it has to be two-way. It has to be a win-win situation. Because just like we need investors from Germany, I would also like, you know, Mauritius to come, you know, Mauritius investors to come here and see what is happening, in what way they can export to Germany, because there are some very interesting products in Mauritius. Yeah, this is the second thing. And the third thing which I'm working on is the Mauritius diaspora. There are around 15, officially, there are around 1,500 Mauritians in Germany, staying in Germany. In Berlin alone, you have around 200 Mauritians staying in Germany. So, as an ambassador, I am representing Mauritius. And it is very important for me to work with the Mauritius diaspora, with Mauritians, and to see in what way we can link with them, in what way we can help them, in what way, especially the Mauritians who have experts, some special experts, okay, some special know-how, okay, we can ask them to come back to Mauritius to help Mauritians. So this is another focus. And the final focus is about, given the economic problems which I may say in Mauritius right now, because we are also working on migration. Migration two-way, that is where we can attract, experts from Germany who can come in, who have what is known as that scarce, capital, that scarce element, skill. They can come to Mauritius to work. And we're also trying to see in what way Mauritians can migrate. In Mauritius, we've got manual workers, we've got doctors, highly qualified doctors, IT, people in the IT, IT technician, IT specialists, okay? We've got nurses. So I'm trying to see as an ambassador in what way we can cooperate. We can try to link with institutions here. We try to see in what way Mauritians can also come and work in Germany. And this is one of the things which I'm doing, is trying to promote German language in Mauritius. Because, one of the basic is, the basic is to know German. So I'm trying to, as an ambassador, trying to talk to the government, to the relevant authorities, to see in what way we can promote German language. These are the focus areas, and then we can develop all of them one by one.
I believe that from your background, the economic diplomacy must be the first issue on your agenda, and also media and the Mauritian diaspora are very important issues as well. But I would like to know if the embassy of Mauritius has tried to actively achieve these points in your agenda through events, either in the past or in the future, or if you have missions coming to your embassy.
You see, first of all, I should thank my predecessors, because, diplomacy is incremental, and we all continue the good work that the predecessors have been doing. So what I know is, we have organized very, very effective training programs, for diplomats, German diplomats. They have gone to Mauritius to give training programs to diplomats in Mauritius. There's a number of exchanges, number of scholarships given to Mauritians. We also have student exchange between Germany and the Germany universities and universities in Mauritius. We have lecturers, staff exchange. There are lots of training being given to many Mauritians in various areas. And these are the things. And one very interesting cultural event which I did when I've come as ambassador is, during the last 4 or 5 years, so the Independence Day was not celebrated. So I took it on myself, together with my officers and the staff, obviously. I organized the Independence Day here. And I invited the Mauritians, and they were all very happy, okay, to dance the Sega and to meet the ambassador and to connect with them. This is where, my focus on Mauritius diaspora, okay, was done. I'm trying to see in what way Mauritians, these people are staying here. They are ambassadors. They are the people who can provide me with information where Mauritians can come and how Mauritians live. These are the things, which I'm working on. So I think there are many events which have taken place. I think lots of things are moving, and I'm very happy to say that, it's not only me, but even my predecessor. I humbly feel that since I've joined as ambassador, together with the support of my staff, I should say, lots of things are moving. I have officers working on investment, on trade. Another officer is working on sports. We are looking for a coach, for a football coach, soccer coach. They are working on that. She's also working on education, how to promote the German language, how to link with other universities. There's a lot of things which are being done. My consular, I've asked him to work on the database of Mauritians. And I think we are investigating, we are trying to see. We are not letting any stone unturned, as we should say. I'm trying all different ways to see in what way my mission, I can achieve at least part of my objectives. Yeah.
For our institute, cultural diplomacy is defined as a course of actions which are based on the exchange of ideas, values, traditions, and other aspects of culture or identity, whether to strengthen relationship, to enhance social cultural cooperation, promote national interest, and beyond. How would you define cultural diplomacy instead?
You see, cultural diplomacy, culture is a very generic term.
Yeah.
What
does it mean to you?
For me, cultural diplomacy is basically the exchange of information, the exchange of ideas among different people, among different institutions. This is for me, culture and cultural diplomacy. And why the exchange of ideas? Why more information about each other? Because we need to have a mutual understanding.
Exactly.
Okay? Among the different countries, among the different people, once we know, I basically feel once we have more information about each other, we will find things, we can have solutions to all problems. And things are much easier. So that's why I believe that cultural diplomacy is very important, and this is my definition of cultural diplomacy. For me, culture is everything, culture is even religion, even sports, even attitudes, even, everything is culture, is based on the culture. And coming to Mauritius, okay, for me, Mauritius is a melting pot, as you can call it, when we talk about culture. If you want to visit the world, if you want to visit the showcase, Mauritius is a showcase of cultural diversity. Yeah. And Mauritius is a place where, where you have, if you look at the history of Mauritius, for example, where you have got, first of all, you've got the Franco-Mauritians who came, these are the people who started staying on the island. They were not the people like the Dutch and others. They came and then they left. But the people who started staying on the island, the Franco-Mauritians, they came. And these are the people who brought, Africans. We call them Afro-Mauritians from Africa. These people worked very hard for the country. They worked as slaves till the abolition of slavery. And then after that, the indentured labor was brought, after the abolition of slavery, indentured labor was brought from India, from different parts of India. And this is where, after that, the British took over. And then we became a British colony. And then in addition to that, we have Chinese who came as traders. So Mauritius is basically, it's a world in itself. It is, many people know Mauritius for its cultural diversity. Obviously, people know Mauritius, when we talk about tourism, for the nice beaches, the nice people. But the culture of Mauritius, wherever you go in the world, and we Mauritians, we feel very proud about it. Why proud? Because, Mauritius is an example. Lots of people, they come in Mauritius to study. Why is it that we have such a social cohesion? Why is it, when you see what's happening in the whole world, why is it, what are the elements in Mauritius that, that keep that social cohesion, that unity in diversity? We call that, we have a unity in diversity. You see, what happened in Mauritius is that we share, our values, to each other. Each religion share the values with each other. Just like today, for example, today, it's good, that to tell you that today there is the Eid, the celebration of the, the Eid Mubarak. And yesterday for Turkey, but for the whole world. In Mauritius, it's a public holiday. And it's like a national festival. It is not only Eid, but people celebrate everything. All religion, we've got Hindus, we've got Buddhists, we've got Muslims, we've got Christians, we've got Protestants, we have all types of religions are there. And it's good to know that there is Mauritius is a secular country. There is no main religion, okay? People can be distributed in terms of, you can be having more people than other, okay? More people from one region to another, but then all the religions are respected. There is no domination of one religion or the other. We respect each other, and people celebrate. I celebrate Christmas, and it's like a national festival, and this is the beauty of Mauritius. Everyone who goes to Mauritius, they realize how we are united, okay? How there is unity in diversity, and this is the basis, and this is what forms. This is the pride of Mauritius, is that unity in diversity. Good.
That's really interesting. Can you give us an example of a time in which you were involved in successful cultural dialogue?
You see, I have told you I am someone who is known to be an economic activist, and not only economic activities, but also have been very much involved in culture, in religion, in all cultural institutions in Mauritius, where I keep talking about, and this is, I think, as a professor, okay, as a professor, I realize that, we have to talk to people, we have to tell people about our culture, we have to tell people about, the Mauritius, the diversity, how different religions, they explain the same thing. How, I remember I came to the Berlin Economic Forum at ICD, where I talked about Mauritius, I talked about culture, the importance of culture, where I have laid lots of emphasis on, and I think the whole world today, this is one thing which is missing, and this is where I congratulate, I find it very commendable that your institute, because the whole world today is running after material growth, where they are missing this element of culture. If people understand that culture is important, people are important, cultural links are important, all these problems will not happen in the world. So we have to refocus. That's why there are many economists, they are working, they are coming with new indices like the happiness index, the quality of life index, all these things are coming up. And this is where, I personally feel that once we realize that we are all human, okay, and we respect humanity, and this is, we've gone very far ahead.
Yeah. So you find the role of cultural diplomacy today really important?
This is very important. Diplomacy, today I keep saying that, one of the very important role of an ambassador is very important is diplomacy. Culture, diplomacy, economic diplomacy, cultural diplomacy. Because, look, for example, why culture? Today, if you want to invest in a country, you should know how to deal with the people. You should know the culture of the people. You should know the habits of the people. Just like when I've come here, I've realized, I had to read about German, how to deal with German. What about the culture? And this is where cultural diversity is important, and in knowledge of culture is very important. And this is where cultural diplomacy becomes very important. People should know about each other, should know about the history, should know about the country, should know about, lots of, when I think about, for example, if you have to deal, suppose you want to invest in Mauritius, you have to know about, the different cultures, in terms of their demand, what do they demand, and etc. I think this is part of our work, and this is part of your work. I think this is what you people are doing.
Yes. Do you believe tourism in Mauritius can be a good means to spread your culture abroad?
I think,
if so, how?
Up to now, tourism has been a very thriving and a very profitable industry for Mauritius. And this is one of the ways, where I've told you, Germany, we've been very successful in Germany so far. More than, we've got more than 75,000 German have visited Mauritius this year, and it is growing. And I think the Ministry of Tourism is doing a good work trying to promote tourism, and they are associating, Mauritius tourism the Ministry of Tourism, together with the embassy and together with one representative company, I think it is based in Munich, they are working very hard to promote the tourist industry. And culture, I feel that, that Mauritius is known, I've told you, and for it should be two-way. Mauritians should come to Germany and to Europe in order to know about the culture. And then we use tourism. If you look at our culture in Mauritius, we have, I think people should know that we have one dialect which is known as Creole. It's a national dialect, Though our official language is English, but we speak French because we went to the French before that. But then there's the Mauritian Creole. It is the dialect which has come up, and this is what what unite Mauritians, and this is part of our culture. We've got a national dance known as the Sega dance. The Sega dance is very interesting, and this is this is the dance that slaves and even Indians they used to dance after some time after work, after a very hard day, they used to dance by the fire. It's the national Sega dance. And in addition to that, you also, given the fact that there are different cultures, different religions, we've got people in Mauritius. The Chinese are there, they have their own culture. The Indians, different parts of India. You have Indians from the north, Indians from the south, Indians from Mumbai. They have their own culture that they are promoting. And this is the beauty of Mauritius. Despite the fact that each one is trying to promote its own culture, because they like to keep their history, they like to link, with their sources, but still Mauritius is Mauritius, so there is that cultural diversity and unity. And I think tourism is one of the way, and I think all German whom I meet who have visited Mauritius, this is the first thing that they tell me about Mauritius, that Mauritians are the best, Mauritians are very nice people, are very helpful, are very friendly, and I think I'm very proud to be a Mauritian.
This is completely understandable, and I have to say that while I gathered the data to prepare this interview, I was really shocked to know about the cultural unity of your island. It is, as you said, it is truly a word in itself, and the sentence that you said, unity in diversity, I think it cannot sound any better, Mauritius and its history. But moreover, aside from that, Mauritius is a marvelous island with an extremely biodiverse nature, and this is one of the reasons why it has become such a popular tourist attraction. And although it's in Africa, because of the cultural diversity, you have various religions, and Hinduism is the biggest one, even though you said it's not the most prominent one. And despite all of this culture, I never managed to find anything about racial religious conflicts or inner fightings, which is something so common in Africa. And so my question is, do you think that culture has allowed Mauritius to prosper to the level it is right now? And do you think it can be a driver for future prosperity?
Definitely. You see, I always believe, even I said that on my national radio, that, we should try to ensure that given any economic strategy that we pursue, any material growth that we have, that there is the sharing, there is a fair distribution of wealth. This is the first thing. There should be economic justice and there should be social justice. When I talk about economic justice, I mean that we should make sure that all the different cultures, all the different religions, all the different communities in Mauritius are well represented. They are not represented only in parliament. They should be represented in the various institutions. They should be represented, in the top level of the country. And this is what has been very helpful. And do you know that in Mauritius we have the system of parliament, system of election, which is known as the best loser system. This is one element which has helped us to maintain what is known social stability. After the election, we have a system known as the best loser to ensure that all communities are represented in parliament. You know, not only that, and today that we find that there are many people who are working in that direction where you have a fair distribution of positions. For example, in my country, when you look at the president of the country, she's here, okay? She's from the Muslim community, she's the president, okay? If you look at the prime minister, he's from the Hindu community. If you look at the vice president, the deputy prime minister, he is from the Christian community. So we make sure that even in terms of the allocation of positions, but then competence obviously should be there. Even the allocation of position, we make sure, this is symbolic. It's very important, symbol and perception are very important. I always believe that perceptions are more important than realities. So we have to show that there is a perception in the country that there is a fair share, there is some equal distribution, okay? The power is being shared to some extent. The institutions are being shared. I remember Nelson Mandela here. I remember Nelson Mandela came to Mauritius and then they asked him, what is democracy? That man, he said, democracy for him is when any person in a country, when he's walking in the country, when he looks at an institution, he says, okay, I am part of that institution. I am included. There is an inclusive, okay, in that institution. This is what is democracy. And you find it in Mauritius. I can say 99 to 100%, I believe that there is a fair sharing. There is, at least institutions are there. Government, we give subsidy. The government gives subsidy to religious bodies. Government gives subsidies to institutions promoting cultures. Okay? So government gives free education up to tertiary level, free hospital services, health services to everyone in the country. It is not given to only one community or the other. So there is the social protection is given to everyone. So this is itself a showcase, where the government, I again maintain Mauritius is a cultural diversity, it's a multicultural country. There is no main religion or a religion who is minor. No, all religions are respected. You have got cultural dialogue in Mauritius and the government ensure that all these things, whenever you have got the national day, you've got the people from the priests, you've got people from the different communities, religion, they come and pray for the country, okay? Whenever you've got, we have to the day of when they start, cutting the sugar cane, okay? So we have a national prayer. So I think, this is a place where I again go back to the same term. Mauritius is a showcase.
I think it really is a showcase, both for cultural diversity, but also for economy. Because Mauritius, aside from, with respect to all of the major African countries, is a middle-income country, which is shifting toward a high-income country.
Yeah.
And as a result, not only of a democratic government, which has been established since its independence from the United Kingdom, but also because it managed to shift from production of sugarcane to service and manufacture. And my question now is a bit of a mixture, because I would like to know how deep cultural diversity has influenced economic growth of the country, and how do you think cultural diversity can influence economic growth in the future?
You see, it's good that we talk about the economy. You see, there is one here, achieving the second economic miracle. You see, it's good if you look at this document, okay? Now, what is happening in Mauritius, why is Germany important? I've already told you. Mauritius, we are at the crossroad. Mauritius has done very well. We had our first economic miracle in the 1990s. And Mauritius is an example for Africa, an example for good governance, good institution, best practice. And today, Mauritius is transforming itself rapidly from manufacturing, from agriculture to the services sector. We are already doing very well in outsourcing, in our ICT. And Mauritius is positioning itself as a big platform, to serve Africa. We want to provide our services to all the different countries, all different investors, to come to Mauritius, open a management company. We have a free port. Now we are developing our port. We are making Mauritius becoming one of the most important ports in the region. Okay? We already have a very well developed airport. When you look at connections, to go to Mauritius, and Mauritius is like, I should say, Mauritius is a place which link Asia to Africa. It can link Europe to Africa, China to Africa. Mauritius is the platform today. And today, it's good for you at least to note down that we are developing a number of new areas. Apart from the traditional one, which is sugar, okay? Sugar, tourism also is being developed. Today we are then manufacturing. Today we are going into what is known as the ocean economy. We are going very rapidly into renewable energy. We are going into infrastructural development. We are trying to develop Mauritius as a center of excellence in terms of education hub, as a medical hub, okay? And now we're also developing Mauritius in terms of, cultural tourism. This is where culture becomes very important, because we are trying to ensure that people come and see our culture, okay? So there are various areas, where Mauritius is trying to develop itself, And the latest one is Mauritius is trying to develop smart cities, and all these new areas. This is where I inform you that Germany is very important, because we are trying to associate with Germany. Especially, we are trying to develop light, technology transfer, trying to go into technology, light manufacturing, where the German investors, they can come to Mauritius and then use Mauritius as a platform for Africa. Again, I reiterate that there are many Germans, they see Mauritius, even the German investors, they see Mauritius only as a place for tourist destination. They don't realize the opportunities which are in Mauritius. Especially if you look at the market size, okay, you would have a problem, because the market size is not only Mauritius. Mauritius is part of SADC, it's part of COMESA. Mauritius is close to Africa. Mauritius can give the best facilities in terms of the port, the airport, in terms of we have a very good, solid banking system, offshore banking system, and we have a qualified personnel, qualified technician, qualified accountant, qualified doctors, who are well trained, and lawyers, and a good legal system, and internationally recognized and a good legal system. If you look at the governance, indicators, we rank very high. Okay, so I think Mauritius is the place, where people can think, the German investors can think if they want to invest in Africa. Mauritius is part of Africa, I should say that. But then, if you look at the mainland Africa, there are many factors which are not present, which you can use Mauritius as a platform. You get a stable country, okay, with right institutions, with the right law, especially if you want to protect your money, okay, in Mauritius, then you can invest in Africa. So you can use Mauritius as a platform. And this is what Mauritius is working on. Mauritius today is trying to position itself, trying to use our exclusive maritime zone to develop the ocean economy. Mauritius is trying to position itself as a major tourism destination. And this is where I'm going to talk about tourism again. And Mauritius is trying to position itself as a platform, okay, between any other country, Asia, China, Europe, and Africa. And coming back to tourism, it's very important that people should realize, and that the German especially, when I meet the German, I try to convince them that That is true that the Mauritius people have the perception that Mauritius is an expensive destination. This is not true. You know, the Mauritius can cater for all types of pocket. It depends on you, your choice and your pocket, because people can have a very good holidays, can spend a very good time on the beach, meet the Mauritian people, okay, with very little money in Mauritius. It is not true to say that it is a very expensive decision. It depends where you want to go. Just like if you want to go and stay in Adlon, you know, it will be different, okay? It depends upon your pocket. That's why I tell that more information, people should come to the embassy. I am here, I have an open door policy, my officers are here. We can give all information about the business opportunities, about even tourism, how you can spend your days, you know, how you can go as a tourist to Mauritius and have a good time in Mauritius with a little money. And we are well connected today. And you know, today we've got Lufthansa, Condo, they're connecting to Mauritius. You can also connect through Paris, you can connect through Turkey. So Mauritius is well connected today, and I think that this is the place, this is the destination to go. Thank you.
Returning to your point of preparing new generations for the service system, you're saying you're training doctors, you're saying you're training economists. You are an economist yourself. Yeah. I would like to know, from your academic background, which has clearly been economical, I would like to know which advice would you give to young people who are interested in pursuing an academic career, even late in their life, even someone like me who's studying economic at this moment, or like my colleague.
You see, with experience, you know, at times, you know, people take the whole life to know what they like to do. But for me, I believe, just like me at my age, I want to learn history now. I want to learn anthropology, psychology. You know, these are things, you know, I feel that people should know. Especially your background of economics, it's very important that you know about economic history. You know about the different cultures. This is very important because if you look at the big businesses today, the big boxes, they are employing, you know, historians. They are employing anthropologists, okay, to understand the cultures where they are going to invest. What is most important as a career, you know, if you do economics, you know, it's my pet subject. But economics will give you a very good insight about the economy, the world economy. But then in addition to economics, you have to look at the other dimension, which is the social dimension. This is where history comes in, sociology comes in, anthropology comes in, culture comes in. And this is what I advise to students, that they have to think about that, think about on those lines. Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. And
if I have something to add, you know,
yes.
there. Yes. I have a last thing to add before thanking you, is, you know, that I am also a non-resident ambassador, because I'm going to submit my letter of credentials soon to different countries in the region, which are mainly Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria, and Turkey. Okay, these are the different countries. And then we are also working closely, I'm also working closely with Hungary and Bulgaria. These are the different countries which are also under my jurisdiction here. So this is in addition. And then what I can conclude by only telling you, Danke schön, thank you very much for coming. And following this interview, you know, I hope that the German and even the people from other countries, okay, they have more interest, you know. I can try to boost their interest to go to Mauritius, and this would promote, you know, Mauritius not only as a tourist destination, but Mauritius as a the cultural heritage of Mauritius as a cultural center, I should say, cultural center of excellence, and Mauritius as an investment place where people can go and really do some good investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your
You are
time.
welcome.
And I'm sure that German people would be more interested in Mauritius, not just from a touristic point, but also from an economic point after this interview.
I would be very happy, and my mission, as ambassador, would be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.